What if your depression isn't just an illness, but a message? What if the darkness you're feeling isn't a curse, but a call? A call to wake up, to rediscover who you really are, beyond the roles, the pain, the noise of the world. Today, we're going to explore a different perspective, one that might just change the way you see your suffering. This is What if your depression is a spiritual wake-up call? Depression is often described as a heavy fog, a dull ache, an emptiness that no achievement or distraction seems to fix. You might feel tired yet unable to sleep, surrounded yet completely alone, alive yet disconnected from life itself. In clinical terms, it's seen as a mental health condition caused by brain chemistry, trauma, or life circumstances. But what if there's another layer? What if your depression isn't just something to medicate or fix, but something to listen to? In many spiritual traditions, crisis precedes transformation. Just like a seed must break open in the dark soil before it can grow, sometimes the soul must crack to let the light in. Depression can be seen as a dark night of the soul, a sacred and painful phase where your current identity no longer fits, but your new self hasn't fully arrived. This spiritual depression often arises when you feel disconnected from purpose. You no longer resonate with the life you've built. You sense that something deeper is missing, but you can't explain what. This isn't failure. It's a spiritual awakening in disguise. The term Dark Night of the Soul comes from 16th century mystic Saint John of the Cross. He described it as a period of intense emotional and spiritual suffering, where the old ways of seeing the world collapse, and the soul enters a void of not knowing. There's no light, no certainty, no joy, but beneath the surface, something is shifting. The ego is breaking down, and the soul is preparing to be reborn. If you're in this space, it may feel like you're falling apart, but in truth, you're falling through the illusions and beginning to meet your true self.
Many people report that their depression began when they stopped being true to themselves. Maybe you're living a life that pleases others but leaves you empty. Maybe you're stuck in patterns that no longer align with your soul. And your depression? It's your inner self screaming, "This isn't who I am." What if the sadness is a compass? What if the numbness is a warning sign? What if your soul is calling you back home? This perspective doesn't romanticize suffering, it honors it, because the pain has purpose, if you're willing to look deeper. So how do you respond if your depression is a spiritual wake-up call? Stop running. Sit with it. Feel it. Listen to what your pain is trying to say. Ask bigger questions. What parts of myself have I abandoned? What do I truly value? What needs to die so that something new can live? Connect with your inner world. Meditate, journal, pray, walk in nature. These are not distractions, they're invitations. Seek help not just to fix, but to awaken. A therapist, spiritual guide, or mentor can hold space for your healing journey. You don't have to walk it alone. Trust the process. Just because you're in the dark now doesn't mean the light is gone. Even the moon disappears, but it always returns. Maybe you're not broken. Maybe you're breaking open. Depression can strip away what is false so you can rebuild from truth. It can force you to slow down so you can hear your soul again. And sometimes, the most painful experiences become the gateway to the most profound transformation. You didn't come here to live numb. You came here to feel, to grow, to evolve. Your pain is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your awakening. If this video spoke to something deep inside you, know this: you're not alone. You're not weak. You're on a sacred path, one that millions have walked before you, and one that leads back to your soul. Share your experience in the comments. Your words might help someone else feel seen. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more content on healing, consciousness, and the spiritual journey. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. You're not falling apart. You're falling into truth.